So from some of the content on my channel, you can probably guess that I am a sports fan, but primarily a football slash soccer fan. So I want to talk to you guys a bit about how I got into football and what it means to me essentially. So this all pretty much started since day one. My whole family is Mexican and it's the only sports my dad likes, so I was pretty much born into this culture. As a kid, I never really supported any club or anything like that, and I would only really watch Mexico play. I've been playing soccer since I was about 5 years old, and I've gotten pretty decent at it, and I've loved playing the sport. When I was about 13, how I viewed the sport really changed for me. For instance, I went from calling it soccer to calling it football. And since this was about World Cup time, I started to get football fever. And would watch all these different YouTube compilations about it and stuff. And I would watch YouTubers who would do like football challenges like the F2, the Sidemen, and SV2. And I really started to get into it besides like playing it. Then I finally decided I was going to buy my first FIFA game for my Switch. So I went to Target and bought FIFA 18. FIFA 19 was already out, but FIFA 18 was only 30 bucks, so it was a pretty easy choice for me. So I pretty much played the heck out of the game. Then I started to get more knowledge of the different teams and players around the world. After about a year, I decided I was going to follow a team. Now, since most of the YouTubers I watched were from the UK, it had to be a Premier League team, of course. I first contemplated Chelsea, then Wolves, and a few other teams. And I knew I wanted a team that wasn't super OP, like Man City. So instead, I decided to go for Man United. I don't really know the main reason I started supporting them though. I don't know if it was the players or the colors they wore, but from that day on, I decided I was going to be a United fan. This wasn't too long ago. In fact, it was the start of the 1920 season, the one that was cut off like 3/4 of the way through because of COVID. And the team was pretty crap all season until that break, in fact. So COVID stopped all football in March 2020 for about 3 months, and then they returned without fans in the stadium. Now this is where I fell in love with the team. If I can recall correctly, United were in 6th or 7th place. I needed about 7 points to qualify for the Champions League with 10 games to go. And for those games, the team was on fire. They did not lose any of those 10 games. In fact, I think they won 8 or 9 of them. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Leicester were busy being bottlers. Bruno and Marcus Rashford were on fire, but Anthony Martial, oh, he was something else. He scored like 7 goals in that period, which really kept us in that race. Then when this top 4 race could not get any more intense, the last game of the season was going to be none other than against Leicester City themselves. If United avoided a loss, they would qualify for next year's Champions League. And they lost. And by they, I mean Leicester! I could not believe it. For those 10 games, United were pretty much the best team in the league, even beating City, I'm pretty sure, even though we finished 3rd. Then the next season, which was the 2020-2021 season, had no fans in the stadiums and was COVID ridden with games being postponed left and right. United played pretty decent. I mean, it was pretty much a meme that United would go 1 down before halftime, then come back in the second half. And it felt good that we spent a good amount of time being first, but sadly we finished 2nd and nowhere near Man City. Our Champions League campaign was a roller coaster because we lost to every team in that group, but we also beat every team in that group, and we fell to the Europa League, which we made the final of, but lost, of course. So that season was pretty much a failure. But we did get to see some players shine, like Rashford in the first half of the season, Bruno, Cavani, and he that shall not be named. As for Harry Maguire, well, he was not playing like Harry Maguire, I'll tell you that much. Now to sum up last season pretty quickly. Prem, crap. Manager shuffle, what was the point of Ragnick? Every player I named a few moments ago were useless, and one of them was even accused of something. Our tournament campaigns were a disaster, but at least we got Sue. Now to talk about this season.
Look, Baldi's here.
We signed some pretty decent players, but only because the Glazers felt pressured since we got clapped in the first two games. Then the team completely switched things around after beating Liverpool, winning 4 in a row. But after not playing a Premier League match for about a month because the Queen passing and the international break, we lost all momentum and recently lost to Man City. Horribly. Yay, fun! Now my expectations for this season. We should win a trophy, primarily the Europa League, because the teams in that competition this year are crap. Now, United are my main club, but a couple of seasons ago, I decided I was probably missing out on some good football. So I decided I was going to start watching the Italian and German leagues. Using a random number generator, my German team from that day forward would be Frankfurt. They were in ninth at that point, by the way, and last season they won the Europa League, so I'll take the credit for that. Then, since Chucky Lozano was one of my favorite Mexican players, I chose the Life is Life Merchants, aka Oh Napoli. Last season, the Italian league was probably the most competitive league, and Napoli just missed out on the title. So I'm glad I didn't miss out on anything like that. And they have to probably be my second favorite club, and they are looking mad sexy this season. Being top of the league and also doing good in the Champions League. Besides those teams, I'm not really interested in any others. I mean, I go for Sevilla in Spain, but they are doing so crap this season, it's not even funny. And for Mexico and the MLS, I go for Chivas because of family, but I don't really watch them. And I just enjoy watching the two LA teams' highlights, I guess. So yeah, no matter how much I suffer from watching football, I will always stay loyal to my teams and come back for more. Pretty toxic when I think about it.
My bands always multiply. I am stacking up my bands like a game of Jenga. I am stacking up my bands like a game